Y'all excited? You know how we're gonna start off, right? You guys know how we're gonna start off? So we're gonna have to stand up, baby. We're gonna have to stand up. So we're gonna do it twice, because I know the first time is always like wishy-washy, so we're gonna do it twice, all right? You ready? Now we gotta do it loud. USA in the house? Canada in the house? Experior in the house? All right, here we go. Here we go. Decade of distinction! Let's go. All right, all right. Let me ask you permission. You guys okay with me being a little vulnerable today? Right? The part of this story that I haven't spoken about, some of you guys read it in the book. It's just that it's not that it's hard for me to face. It's just the pain I caused, not for myself, but for my family. But we'll talk about it. So my topic today is about embracing your distinct story. The whole theme is distinction. Y'all all have distinct stories, yes? You got to connect with that. And I'm going to share it to you. I'm going to share you mine. That's, we all start somewhere. We all got an upbringing, and you got to connect with your upbringing. That's my dad, that's my mom, that's my sister, and that's myself there. Look at that little kid. Do I look somewhat alike still? You can see the same features? Born and raised in Montreal, Quebec! Raised by very hardworking first-generation immigrants. You know what? I'm really curious to see. How many of y'all are here first-generation immigrants? Stand up. Stand up. Right? How many of y'all are children to first-generation immigrants? Stand up. Look at each other. Look at each other. You know what? And give them a high five. Y'all here. Y'all here. Y'all here. And you know what? I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. Say hi in your native language to each other. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. all the Canadians are like, man, I gotta say hello. It's all good. You guys are unique. I was raised by very, very hardworking immigrant parents. I know a lot of you guys can resonate. My dad and my mom came to this country in 1983. We had a civil war back home. I'm from Sri Lanka. Any Sri Lankans in the house? Oh, we got to grow our presence, guys. Come on, man. We're going to step up. We got to be like the Africans, the Nigerians. Yeah. My mom and dad, they came down in 83 because they had a civil war. My mom was studying to become a charter accountant, and she had to leave everything behind overnight. Why? Because her house was getting burned down. People were ready to kill the family because of the war. The government was attacking the Tamils, all right? And there was a lot of trauma, a lot of things going on, and they had no choice to leave behind. So her dreams and goals was left behind because she wanted to save her future generation. She wanted to make sure that her future generation had a shot at living, just surviving, right? And I'm just so blessed. If you're children of first-generation immigrant, guys, maybe you haven't connected with your parents' story, but connect with that. Understand where they came from. Because when I found out how hard it was for them, the trauma, right, the mental battles that they had to go through to set up in Canada, I was like, man, I cannot fail my legacy. There's no way I'm failing my legacy. There's not an option. That's my grandparents. I was fortunate enough to have my grandparents around me. I grew up always celebrating my birthday. Some of you guys pull me aside like, Denesh, man, you got so much energy, blah, 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 and all that. I'm like, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate the energy you give back. One thing I must say I'm very, very blessed of is that my dad, my mom always took time to celebrate my birthday. It wasn't grand. It wasn't big. It was just bringing people together. So I was always around people. See, those are all my boys, my buddies. I still keep in touch with them. Some of them are in my business. They're not here today, and I'm happy about that. But I always celebrated So when you ask about my energy, it's because I was always around people, right? I wasn't the type of guy that, spent time alone. So in a way, I'm bragging about it, but I'm happy that I was able to being brought up around people, celebrating. It was huge for me. I also played sports. Any basketball players here? Yeah. All right. That's me, Steph Curry, releasing the ball. I know that was a swish for sure. That was a swish. See, they couldn't even get to me. You see that guy running up? Basketball was my favorite sport. My parents put me in sports when I was a kid. Why am I sharing you this? Because I want you to understand there's stuff that's happened to you as a kid that shaped you as you were growing up. When you connect with your younger self, you know why you became who you are, how you were able to overcome a lot of the challenges you're going through today, right? Being in sports helped me acquire the skills of discipline, right? Being on time, my coach was hard on me. My mom also put me in karate. My sensei used to beat the crap out of me, and I remember I used to block it. He used to kick me down. I remember when he kicked me so hard, right, between my stomach here, and I went down, and I was like, holy crap, well, this is intense. I'm like, but I'm not gonna sit here and cry. I'm gonna get back up because my mom was watching on the sideline, and she was afraid for me. I said, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up. I got back up. But you see, those little events or those things that happened to me made me grow, made me become more resilient, more stronger. And I can promise you there's stories or stuff in your life today that you got to connect with because there's other people that haven't experienced that and you got to embrace that. You can grow with that, guys. Don't use those reasons as why you're not growing. Use it as why you are growing. You hear me? I graduated high school, right? Some of you guys are like, oh, D, man, you always come up with the different suits. And all that. I'm like, listen, I grew up in an environment where my buddies were always self-conscious. They're like, you know what, D, we gotta have our hair slicked. We gotta wear the nice outfits. So when you look at me today and some of you compliment about my suits and the way I dress, it's not because I did that overnight. It's because I grew up in that type of environment where I was being very self-aware, self-conscious, because I did have low self-esteem. But eventually I grew out of that self-esteem and built confidence, right? Built confidence. Looking to be on someone's prospect list. As I grew up, I started right into the workforce. Right after high school, I started working manual labors. Anyone here worked manual labor before? Yeah? Factory jobs. See, have you ever thought of this? Looking to be on someone's prospect list. Sometimes, we get above our head and we're like, hey, I'm here in this business. But you were actually lucky to be on someone's prospect list. Whether you came to Experior or you were prospected by someone from your previous company, don't matter. You were lucky to be on their prospect list. Have you thought about the people on your list? Have you thought about how lucky they could be being on your prospect list? Have you thought of that? That was my old team. Actually, the person to the far, if you guys are watching, the person to the far left, right? It was the person who recruited me. He's still in this business, but one thing I'm so grateful for is that he never gave up on me. I was probably one of the hardest recruits because I used to swear at him. I used to say, man, this thing is like a pyramid. All those objections, which I laugh about today because it's old school objections. I used to say that in 2008. Right? When people still say this is a pyramid, MLM is one of those things. I almost laugh right now because I was the one hitting them with that in 2008. So outdated. Right? So outdated. I'm sorry. But this man never stopped following up with me. It was so relentless, so relentless. I had to go through a lot of challenges, a lot, but I still kept in the game. And I'll tell you where my turning point is, because I got about 2 minutes. And when I speak, guys, I like to speak from my heart. Your story is distinct to you. June 2013 happened. See, I wasn't brought up in the best of environments. I had great parents, but I was caught up in, we call it the streets. 26-year-old man is recovering from gunshot wounds after attempted murder in Notre Dame de Grasse early Saturday morning. The man was shot several times in the lower body, the garage of an apartment building at 2216 Madison Avenue, apartment number 6, at 2:10 a.m. What would you do if you got shot today? His life is not on danger. See, I was shot, but guess what? I was given a shot at life again. This part is emotional because it's not that I'm concerned about me getting shot. I'm more concerned about the pain I caused my mom. Because the day I got shot, I remember that day so vividly when I ran upstairs after getting shot and I didn't know what happened. My adrenaline was pumping and I remember banging on the door at 2:15 a.m. and my mom came to the door and I told her I got shot, and she couldn't understand what's going on until she looked at my back and she saw blood gushing out. Right? And I saw her face, I saw the breath she took, and I can't forget that. I forgot about my shot. I looked at her face. I remember what happened to her face there. The pain, the agony. Till this day, the residual effect of that. She texts me every morning, says, "God bless you, son." Every single morning. Yeah, every single morning. I was given a chance, guys. I don't know if all of you got more chances, but one thing I remember when that happened, I said, this is my chance to get out, to do something better for my life. 2020 happened. Failure is not an option. That's my pops. My pops got diagnosed with brain cancer in 2018 at age 58. Passed away 2 years later, 60 years old. And that was my turning point, because this is a grown man that nurtured me, that showed me the work ethic that I needed. And I took it for granted until he was gone. When things are taken away from you, that's when you realize that you got to step up. But I hope you don't wait till that moment in your life. I hope it's not when your children are taken away from you, not when your mom is taken away from your dad or your spouse. I hope you decide today, when you leave, that you're not going to let that happen. Just like Frank said, you got a big enemy, and that's time running out. Time is running out. You got to take life seriously, guys. I can't tell you how important every second matters. Life does not get any easier or more forgiving. I can promise you. We get stronger and more resilient. What kept me going was my environment, my family, my pillar, my family. That's my sister, that's my mom, that's my beautiful spouse. Lucia, you guys heard her speak. I'm here to fight for them, guys, because I've been given a shot. I can't let them down. You guys gonna let your family down? You gonna let your family down? None of you. None of you. My team. I'm here for my team. Where's my team? Let's go, baby. You all are my team. It's my spouse, my mentors. I'm in an environment that's gonna help me grow, take my life to the next level. I want you guys to be part of this environment. Do not leave without making a decision to change your life. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. I see you guys at the top. Let's make this happen.